Hello, I'm Bretton, one of our MCAT tutors here at Inspira Advantage, where we help students get into med school and other professional programs. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about some key sociological concepts that will help you understand social structures, including status, roles, and groups. These concepts are essential for understanding how individuals interact with each other and how they are classified within society, as well as being a huge component of the Psych-Soc section on the MCAT. So let's dive on in. Beginning with status. Status is a position in society used to classify individuals. There are three types of statuses you need to understand for the MCAT. The first is ascribed status. This is involuntarily assigned to an individual based on factors like race, gender, and ethnicity. For example, a person born as a female will have the ascribed status of being a woman. This is something you don't work for, it's just something that you get when you are born. Next, we have achieved status. This is voluntarily earned by an individual through personal accomplishments or choices. For instance, you're working on becoming a doctor. If you do become a doctor, that would be an achieved status. You worked hard and you became a doctor. Finally, you also need to understand master status. This is the primary status by which an individual is defined. For some, it could be their profession, while for others, it might be the role they play in their family or community. Again, examples like I am a doctor, or I am a teacher, or I am a father, I am a son, I am a daughter, I am a mother. Whatever you would use to describe yourself when someone asks, hey, what are you? That would be your master status. And a status should not be confused with roles. A role is a set of belief, values, or norm that defines the expectations of a certain status in a social situation. There are 5 you need to understand for the MCAT. First is role performance. This refers to carrying out the behaviors associated with a given role. For example, a teacher might instruct, guide, and evaluate students. Next, there is a role partner. This is another individual who helps define a specific role within a relationship. In a parent-child relationship, both the parent and the child are role partners. And next, we have the role set. This is a collection of all roles associated with status. For instance, a person who is a parent may also have a role as a caregiver, disciplinarian, and provider. Next, there are 2 often confused terms, role conflict and role strain. The MCAT loves asking about the difference between these 2. Role conflict occurs when an individual has difficulty managing multiple roles, such as being a working parent while also juggling family and professional responsibilities. Importantly, it's the conflict that occurs when you have more than 2 roles, 2 or more roles. Unlike role strain, which is when an individual is experiencing difficulty managing just one role, like a student struggling to meet academic expectations. Next up, we have groups. Groups are collections of 2 or more people with similar characteristics that share a sense of unity, and there are 8 types you need to know for the MCAT. First, we've got our peer group. This is a self-selected group formed around shared interests, like a college study group or a sports team. Then we have our family group. This is the group you are born, adopted, or married into. We also have the in-group, which is the group you belong to or identify with, such as your circle of friends. There's also the out-group, which is a group you compete with or oppose, like a rival sports team. We also have a reference group, which is a group you compare yourself to, like the colleagues in your profession or other students. We also have a primary and a secondary group. The primary groups are groups with strong emotional bonds, such as family or close friends. And then the secondary group are people with less influence over us. These are often temporary and weak bonds, like a work project team. Next up, we want to talk about the difference between these 2 German words, Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. These are both 2 contrasting types of social organization. Gemeinschaft is community and Gesellschaft is society. Gemeinschaft refers to close-knit communities where relationships are based on personal bonds and shared values. Kind of like a small town. You might do bartering here, whereas Gesellschaft is where relationships are based on individual interests and rational decision-making. So this is something you probably see in a big city, where not everybody knows everyone, and you're more self-interested rather than community-oriented. Next, we have bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is a rational system of administration, discipline, and control. Max Weber identified 6 defining characteristics of a bureaucracy. It's got to have a division of labor. It's got to have a hierarchy of authority. or a clear chain of command that exists within the organization. There must be a formal selection process. So employees are chosen based on their qualifications and expertise, not just because of nepotism. There also must be rules and regulation. Standardized procedures must be guiding these organizational activities. It also must be impersonal. Decisions should be made objectively, without personal bias. Again, no nepotism. And finally, it should be seeking to achieve maximum efficiency in their operations. However, an interesting thing occurs with bureaucracies. This is referred to as the iron law of oligarchy, where democratic and bureaucratic systems naturally shift to being ruled by an elite group, or an oligarchy. This occurs because as an organization grows, decisions become more centralized, and a small group of individuals gain more power and control. This is like the C-suite of executives. Finally, we want to talk about sects. A sect is a religious group that arises from a split within a larger religion. Often sects form because of disagreements over beliefs and practices, or leadership. For example, Christianity arose from Judaism, and various sects have formed within Christianity itself, such as Protestants and Catholics. Understanding concepts like statuses, roles, and groups can provide valuable insight into the complexities of social structures. These concepts help us make sense of our relationships, the organizations we interact with, and the broader society in which we live. As you navigate through your college years and beyond, remember that these sociological concepts can help you understand your own place in the world and the dynamics of the social interactions around you, as well as getting you quite a few more points on the Psych-Soc section on the MCAT. So thank you so much for watching our video on social interaction, and I will see you next time.